It's a regular expression error, so it's just give me a minute. I'm very poor with regex. Um, or actually, no, there should not be any cap. Where? Cap? Probably. But I think I've given that cap here. Okay, let's see. Probably. No, that's not it. So typically, or
first time that you say enter, it enter anything, it will like go to the first root to the first level only. Change, make it specific. Like
you want to?
there's no dollar.
Yeah, I've given dollar, right? So there is dollar here. So here there is a dollar. So ha ha ha. Okay, so that's the order thing probably. Okay. Or let me try again so that. Oh yeah, that's the order thing. Yeah. So this is the blog that's showing up. So okay, let me add some more from the admin. Okay. So something like this. So I'm not going to talk about the stylings, but because that's irrelevant at least now. So yeah, so okay, so now that we have added the listing feature, so let's say if we want to add another functionality, oops, sorry, another functionality where you want to add blog view feature. So blog view, so if you want to see a single blog, so you might want to get some ID or a slug of the blog which you want to filter. So let's say that variable could be post ID. Let's say for now, let's consider that as the post ID. And so let's say blog is equal to blog post dot objects dot get ID is equal to post ID. I'll try to give a demo of this querying style little later, right? So because now I can't do. Alright, so I'm sending this blog to the blog view. So I don't have any blog view HTML right now, so I have to create one. So again, I have to extends base.html blog title. So in here, I want to print the blog title instead of some random text. So that's why I'm giving this thing. So this blog is from the context of the request. So which is this one. So I'm sending the blog here, so I can access it in the request. Alright, so now all we need to do is let's say blog.title, and I want to give a div, and in this I want to write a blog.text, and I can give this escape, or I can ignore for now because I didn't give any HTML data into this one so far. Okay, let's consider the last one be HTML version. Okay. So okay. So I'll remove the escape and show you what it looks like. Okay, so it will not render the thing. So yeah, now we have a content. So now we are extending the base. We are overriding the title. We are overriding the content, and yeah, that's it. So now we need to make a route for this one. So let's say I don't remember this again. So I have to, sorry. So this is how you write. So it's a simple regular expression that will only accept 0 to 9 numbers. It will not accept the characters or anything. So it will and assigns the value to this one post ID. So I'll just copy it because I don't want to risk it. Okay. So yeah. So this is the route, and okay, I'm assigning this to blog view, and I'm giving the name blog view. All right. So now I should be able to access this first blog. What's wrong with this? Let me remove this trailing slash.
Again, ordering.
That's what I'm trying to see, but it doesn't look like an ordering error.
In that post ID on the top.
Sorry?
No, it don't matter. It's very sensitive.
Hey, I have dollar at the end, right? So I don't see a good reason why it should do that, but alright, so I'll remove this index for now. Maybe let's see. Okay, let me close all first. Sorry.
You need to put an extra slash. In the URL, you have to put extra slash after blog, and here when you just like.
Okay. Just give me a second. Do you think slash is the reason? Probably. But trailing slashes are ignored. No, I have to tell to ignore, I guess. Yeah. Is this what you're talking? Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Should I put this up? Okay, again, silly error. Alright. So yeah, so that's what it is. So I can view the blog by parsing this number. So if I give some alphabet, so it doesn't route to that route because in the route I'm saying only numbers. So actually it should not work at all, but somehow. All right, so this is the blog view. I'll, okay, I'll try to add excerpt a short text here so that I can show the escape thing and truncate words thing. See, you can see the P here. So it has come with the straightforward HTML code. So that's not what we want in general. So that's why we use this escape. Oh. Escape. Just give me a second. Auto escape, I guess. but probably not. Oh, okay. Apparently 1.11 doesn't have this, but it used to work earlier. So how? All right, that's bad. All right, so there are a couple of changes which I could not realize actually. See, it used to be escape earlier. So it used to be escape, but escape or save. So I don't know they're deprecated or something. See, you can still use something like this. All right, so for some reason it didn't work, but yeah, that's how it should. Okay, let me try one last time. Nope. All right, so at least this is how it works. Okay, so it'll automatically render so that so you don't see the HTML version of the code. So that's what you need to do when you have a variable that has a lot of HTML content and you want it to be rendered fashion. So yeah, all right, so that's one thing. And okay, so now I'll add links to this one so that it'll take to the blog view of the individual blog. Okay, so to add that feature, so we'll leverage the blog names that we have given here. So there are route names for each route, which can be reversed. I think everyone remembers the reverse process. So yeah, so for that one, so what we need to do is add an anchor thing. Okay. So this is the syntax. So you just give the name, and it is taking one more parameter, one more thing as an argument for that one, parameter as in the route. So you have to give this post ID as well. And since this is already a Pythonic way of writing code, so this is not this is in this one, right? So you can simply say blog.id instead of this. You don't need to write something like this because it'll automatically render because it is in the block of a Python way. So it'll automatically render that one, and so you got links. So it'll be automatically routed to that one. Okay, so I didn't add this auto escape for this one, so it is not working. Okay, so that's the simple blog thing. But okay, so how many of you are aware of a Bootstrap or something, some framework? Okay. No, I thought I'll build a proper web application with Bootstrap. Anyways, okay, so this is one thing. Okay, and there are some other things called forms in Django that you might want to know. So for showing that, I'll try to show you the contact page. See, typically a website contact page will have a form where you fill something. So I want something, and this is my email ID, something, and you submit that data, right? So you need to know how to get that data and store it into something. So let's try to build that. So this is simple listing and getting the data kind of operation, and I'll try to show you that thing also. So again, so to create a new app, so you use this manage and start app, and let's say I want to name it contact form, and it will be automatically populated here. And I need to tell the site in settings that there is something called contact form, and you need to worry about it. Right. So I've added the contact form, and now it knows that there is a contact form. So we'll go to the models and write a new model. Contact entry models.model. Let's say subject is equal to models dot cat will I want max length to be 100. Text is equal to models dot text field. They can write how much ever they want to, and I in admin I want to see the subject as a title text. I mean somewhere, if you remember from here, so if you do this Unicode, if you override this Unicode with whatever the variable from above, so it will be shown here. Otherwise, it will simply show some. So now that, yeah, that's the object, contact entry object. It simply shows that. So to make it more human readable, so we just override this one, and yeah, so that's it. And so now we need to. So now we have a contact form, and now we need to migrate. Make migrations. Will create migrations in the contact form. So like I said, so it always try to do everything in a single app that you are trying to do. It will not mix and match the whole data. So once you create the migrations data and you just migrate it, so it has applied the migration data. And so now the database is data is available. Table is available in the database. And so for this, I'm creating something called forms.py, just to classify the data that forms always exist in the forms.py. So from Django.forms, okay, so let's say from Django import forms. I'm importing something called forms, and okay, let me import models as well. Contact entry. So to create the form, I need to the model and the forms class of the Django. So now I need to override the Django forms class. So Django comes with two types of forms classes. One is a model class, where so if you give the model, it automatically creates a model based on the data that you have. So let's say there is subject and text, so it will automatically create two fields called subject and text without you writing any code. Or you can write manually, okay, so I need text and I need subject, something like that. So the one which gives the automatic population is the model form, because it uses model to create the form. The other one is just casual form. I'll show you. Contact form, forms.model form. Otherwise, you just use the simple form, right? So in this case, I'm using a model form. But in this case, we need to provide what are you using. So let's say I need to specify what model am I using for creating this form. So I specified this one, and regarding the fields, I'm specifying that I want subject field and text field from there, or I can simply give all _ all also. It's always good to specify what exactly you need instead of getting all the data, right? So okay, so now we need to create a view. So before creating a view, we need to import the data from forms. Import contact entry form, and I am going to create a contact form view. So this is the base structure. So you import the form, and now you create a variable called form, which is like this. So this is how you call it actually. So you call the class. See, this is a class. So this is an extended class of this class model. Sorry, not. I'm really sorry. This one. So I need to import the form, not that one. So I'll create a variable called form. So this form is an instance of the contact form, because since this is a class, so when I use this variable, so it will automatically create an instance of this class. So now that I have this thing, so what I need to do is, so again I need to write a render response. So request and contact form.html, and I'll send form data to that one. All right. So this will okay. So I need to create one more template called contact form now. I'm ignoring the title for now. If you ignore it, it will not show anything. That's it. So it will not throw any errors. Too many typos. Sorry. All right. So sorry. Template. Oh, okay. Perfect. Thank you so much. So people are listening, just like my lecturers used to say. Yeah. So I didn't show the implementation of form in the HTML yet, but I'll create the route and I'll show you the first one. Okay. So let's not make mistakes again. So I'll go to the blog. I'll copy the whole, and so we are importing this URL from Django, and I'm importing the views, and so from views, so this is contact form view, and I'm going to give the name contact form view and contact. So I have to place, okay, so I have to tell the site's URL that there is an app that has URLs that you need to consider. So I'm giving that contact form here. So now what is this? Hello world. Is it the order? Oh, this is okay. See, this is okay. Wait. Am I for this one? No, it simply says that it starts with this and it could end with anything from here. Or okay, do you think I should remove this one?
Contact form HTML. You paste the HTML, you single code, it will only render the contact. Contact form only render the other one.
Which one?
HTML page.
Oh, just give me content form.
In the page.html.
Huh?
And it starts with single quotes in there.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, but still there is an issue. But yeah, we've successful. Okay. Anyways, I'll try to put this contact in. See, it's not okay. Let's not do something advisable. Okay, I'll not do that. Okay. What's wrong with this now? Anything anyone could figure out? For this one and this one, is that what you're talking? Exactly. See, the logic with this one is okay. So, no, I'm saying that okay. So it could start with anything. That's what I'm saying here. So it could anything. It could end with. I'm telling what it could end with from here. So that's that way it should work. Well, what is? I mean, I did this last night just to make sure actually. This was working fine. Sorry.
Content form.html.
No, no.
You are writing only content there. In
It's
no, in the what is URL mapping, if you are writing contact form,
uh-huh.
in the address you are just typing contacts.
No, no. Okay, okay. I'll show you what exactly that was. See, in the URL, I'm saying that, so this is the pattern it should look for. So if it finds this contact slash, that's it. It found the thing, and this has nothing to do with it. It is just saying that if you find this pattern, execute this one, and this is just a name we are giving so that we can reuse this URL sometime later. It still works without this one, but we are using this for, I mean, specifying, reversing the URL so that you can use it as a link somewhere else. Yeah, that's what. Oh my bad. Okay, so there's something really bad. I'll do a quick hack maybe. Okay, something wrong. I could not figure out. All right. So yeah. Um, so this contact form is working right now. So what? So now there is a form which is not being rendered here. So if I want to render this form, so I'm sending this form to the rendering thing, and the template has a variable. Uh, template has a variable which it can access here. So I can just simply give as p, and it works. I mean, it'll automatically populate. If you want some bootstrap version of the inputs, you might need to add use some filters which will do the job. I mean, there are some apps, Django slash bootstrap 3 or something, so which you can use, and which you should use as a filter again. I mean, something like this. I've shown you escape before, so something like this. You use the filter something like this, and it will automatically design the form for in the bootstrap way, so it doesn't look as bad as this one. So yeah, I'm trying to show you this one. So if I show direct form, it will be populated next to each other because it will be in the inline mode. Now that I'm adding this as p, so paragraphs are always a block, right? So if you know this styling sheets, CSS things, so paragraphs always comes to the next version, so it'll never sit next to a paragraph. It'll always throw the paragraph next. So yeah, that's about it. So okay, so let's add a form thing around it. So this is just a input thing, so it doesn't add any functionalities of form. I mean, you can't submit this form as is, so you have to do some job. See, the reason Django did not give direct submit button and reset button and all is because not every time you might want to submit the data. I mean, submit data to the server. Sometimes you might want to do the Ajax calls where it should not go to the server, but it should go to some function which will send it to an API or something like that. So for that good reason, so it only gives you the fields. So what you want to do with the fields is up to you. So for that reason, so we are using form and with method post, and so it should pass to the same page. It should not go to the next page or something like that. And I'll add button type is equal to submit. So now I've added a submit functionality for this one. So if I submit, okay, so since I didn't give any so since I so alright, so okay, so if you think this any field is mandatory, so you can say that it could be null is equal to true. If I do that, it will not show me this throw me these errors. Since it can't be null, it is throwing me some errors here, right? So that's it. And but if you do this null is equal to true, you have to do the migrations again because it's a database operation. Database also has to know that it could be null, right? But there is something called blank is equal to true, and there is something called null is equal to true. It's a bit confusing, but blank is something like so it can be null in the form, but it cannot be null in the database. Right, so that's a rare, I don't say rare use case, but it's quite used, but it's not used very often. So null is where it can be null in the database also. It's like in MySQL you say null, right? Or you say somewhere not null. So that's what this null is about. So you say, so if I put this null is equal to true and run the migrations and submit this form, the database will be submitted. I mean, the data will be submitted to the database with even without any subject. But if I am using simply this one, so it will not submit the database. It always throws with an error that subject should not be null and it should be provided. That's sorry. Exactly. So blank is equal to true is like until let's say you want to override the data in the middle for some good reasons. It could be any. Okay, so at that point of time you accept the blank, but you override that with something else. Okay, see, if you remember, I've shown you the pre-hooks, right? Hooks, the signals. There is some. Okay, I'll try to quickly go through there. Exactly, something like that. So in that there are some signals called pre-hook and post-hooks. So the use case I'm talking mostly comes with pre actually. I mean, way before something is created, and you want to manipulate the data somewhere. So there it is used, and blank is not a general use case, so you don't have to worry too much about it. It's a very exceptional use case, and don't worry about it. So simply, mostly you need to worry about the null is equal to true. But if you ever use that, you have to run the migrations again. And if you ever remove the null is equal to true, you have to run the migrations again. So because it has to, database has to know that. So this is how it should look like. So yeah. And what am I talking? Okay. So yeah. So this is simply rendering the form in a form this thing directive, and you have a submit button which will submit. And all right. So okay. So this one, even if you submit, okay, I'll try to show you the code first. So when the data is posted, you want to do some operation, and when the data is not posted, you want to do some other operation, right? So in that case, so what I want to do is, when the data is submitted, I will get the data. If everyone remembers, request.post is through which you get the post data. So from slides I've shown somewhere. So okay, so else contact form is equal to contact, form is equal to blank. If the data is posted, it will process the data here. If it is not posted, or it is a simple get method, it will simply create a blank post where you can see the data. Right. So okay. So once the data is posted, and you take this one, and see, this contact form will validate the posted data. So you can access this simple data, let's say subject and text, right? So you can access both the data as request.post, okay, subject and text respectively, and you can still post them accordingly. I mean, like something like this. Text is equal to this thing, and subject is equal to the other one. But Django gives a simple feature where you can post as is. I mean, you send the post thing, and it will look for what exactly it needs for. Since you are sending this, defining this as a form, so form needs what exactly it wants. It only needs subject and text. So it will take whatever the parameters it needs from this data, and it will ignore the rest. Even if you can submit any data from this post, but it will take only two elements. Yeah, two things that it needs. Right. So if form is valid, form.save. Save will automatically save the data whatever you have entered into the database. Else you might want to throw an error, obviously. So okay, so in Django, there is a framework called messages, where it's more like, let's say you want to throw an error like, okay, invalid response or invalid input. So that's what you does with this messaging framework. Um, just from core. I keep forgetting where this would be. Contrib. Okay. So yeah, sorry. So in views will input the this messages thing, and when it is successful, it is valid and it is successfully saved. So you send a message, success message saying, let's say awesome. Okay, and when it's not working well, so you want to throw an error saying my bad something. I'll try to, right? Or let's make it error found something.
It's 1 o'clock.
Okay, so you don't need to send these messages to the context or the these variables, because we are already binding this message to the request. So it's a kind of a framework tweak, so it will automatically do that for you. So all you just need to do is create a message and bind it to this request, and this request will take care of it. All right. So in templates, so this is the template which you use actually. So if there are messages, for message in messages, show the alert whatever. Like, okay, let's forget this alert thing. It's a little confusing. So this is the HTML template you have to use so that you can show the messages. So since we are adding a lot of messages, so it is a list. So you have to loop through each message in the messages, and you can safely see the escape or the save. That's what they are doing. So you can bind HTML versions of the errors also, so that you can read from here. All right. So let's put this part in here so that. Okay, so yeah, the good thing about Django is, so it will take care of most of the security features, something like, okay, cross-site request forgery and clickjacking and all stuff. So for that, every post form should be sent with a CRSF token. So CSRF token, sorry. So we just give this here, and it automatically creates a hidden input with CSRF token. I'll show you. So yeah, oh, okay. So it has created a CSRF token automatically. All we just gave is this one. Okay, but if you want to do it, do something with that one, and if you want to access just this CSRF token part, so you can give this variables thing, and it will only print out this part. If you give a Django way of printing something like in the template thing, so it will create the whole hidden thing. I mean, hidden input that has the value of the CSRF token. Okay. All right. So let's say I gave some data. Okay. So now it's awesome. Most probably it will not go because this is stopping that one. I mean, see, I can't send out invalid data because the front end is stopping me from that because it is saying required. Yeah, see this. Okay, let's see if I can tweak this. See, this field is required and error found. This is the message that we have written in the backend. So if you use some bootstrap tag, bootstrap template tag or something, so it will look much better than this one. So this is a very vanilla version, right? So it looks so ugly. I'm just trying to show the functionality. Okay. All right. So that's about the forms. How many are curious to know the tests part? Django tests. Okay, I'll do it for you. All right, so Django comes with inbuilt testing framework. You can use pretty much for all sort of testing things, but mostly people use it for unit tests. I mean, inbuilt Django tests for unit tests, and yeah, you can write beyond that, but mostly people use it for unit tests, and the rest of the tests are written outside the Django style. Okay, so I'll try to show from. Okay. So yeah, so Django comes with this test. So and the test framework will be in from Django test. You have to import the test case. So did you ever do tests, automation tests? All right, perfect. So with Python. Okay. Okay. So so you just take this test case class and you inherit that and extend it. So with a contact form. See. If you have a class in tests and it is inheriting from this test case, Django will automatically run tests on this thing. So you don't need to specify that. Okay, so there is a class and you have to go and test it. So if you are inheriting something which is test case and extending it to something else, so it will automatically do the testing job. But it has to be in the test.py. That's one thing. Okay, so in the contact form thing, I'm trying to do 4 silly tests actually. 4 silly tests. So the first one is I'm trying to give a good data for a contact form and trying to test if it is good, if it is working well. Okay, so this is test good form. Okay, okay, let's. Okay, it should work with awesome. Okay. Okay, let me take this. Okay, so these 4 tests focus on positive and negative cases. So I'm trying to test whether the form, I give the good form and whether it is returning me awesome message or not. And the bad contact form where I'm sending half data, I'm not sending the subject. Okay, and so it should return error form. Okay, I'll try to give you a brief of, okay, I don't need this one. Sorry? Perfect. So yeah, so in this test case, test case will already have this client thing. Client is typically a browser or something that you can post something to or get something to. You can do some job. So I'm posting some data, and this reverse I've talked earlier. So it will reverse and get the URL of the contact form. So we are sending something to the contact form. I'm sending this data. This is the payload subject something, and I'm getting back the messages, and so all the messages are saved in the context, response context, and so once I get them populate the messages, and I'm checking so whether it has awesome in the messages. If it is yes, perfect, so it will work well. So yeah, similarly error found. So I'm giving a half data and probably yeah. So I get the messages again and I'll check whether the error is found or not. And also see, this part is from the data. It's from the HTML part, right? So, but in the next cases, I'm just checking whether the form is valid or not, valid or invalid. So I'm setting the proper data, and I'm checking if the form is valid. If the form is valid, so its test case passes. In this case, in the other one, so I'm giving the half data, and it should fail, and I'm checking if it fails. So to run the data, so again everything is through the manage itself. So manage, oops. So if I run the test, okay, something failed. Okay, so there is nothing called contact form. What is the contact form view, right? No, I cannot do that. So this is the advantage with test. I mean, if you change something in the middle, it will fail, and it will let you know that something failed. So your changes are bad. So that's what. So it has run 4 tests. I didn't specify anywhere that this has to test this method or class, so it will automatically test. Yeah, that's how it is. So yeah, that's pretty much concludes it. Any? Sorry. I think verbose will show the test results. Um, Sorry. All right. So there is a way to see the entire results as well, but I no clue now. Right. That's pretty much it. Any questions? All are hungry and sleepy. That's it. That's it from my side. So if you have anything to talk or ask. Good. I think that's it. Perfect. Thank you so much. And thanks Chirag and Kapil. He's not here. And thanks for Hyderabad meetup. Hyderabad. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Kapil again?
This guys,
Just a minute. Yeah.
we.
Yeah, done.
Alright, hey guys, thank you. Thanks for coming. My name is Mani. I'm part of the Hyderabad Python group. It's a Saturday. It's a Saturday morning, and thanks for coming here on Saturday morning and making it possible.